Good evening. Greetings to all the viewers. I welcome all of you to this session by Tillotoma Foundation titled Global Economy in Post-Pandemic Scenario with special reference focus on India. I am Debosmita Nandy, Executive Public Relations and HR at Tillotoma Foundation. Today's speaker is Dr. Rajib Bhattacharyya. He is an Associate Professor in Economics at Goenka College of Commerce and Business Administration. The global economy has been badly hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. Economic activities has been stalled for months in different countries across the world in different sectors due to the lockdown imposed as precautions for pandemic. India, with its huge population, has also been affected by this economic crisis triggered by the pandemic. A rupees 20 lakh crore economic stimulus package has been announced by the Indian government to boost the economy. However, several, including the medium, small, and micro enterprises, remains vulnerable to the economic crisis. The Reserve Bank of India is also trying to aid the economy through fiscal measures. It's important that all the nations take appropriate actions to steer the global economy away from another global recession. I request Dr. Rajib Bhattacharyya to begin his talk. I request him to kindly limit his talk within 25 minutes. We can take questions at the end of Dr. Bhattacharya's talk. So you can begin now.
Thank you, Debosmita madam. Good evening to everyone present in the webinar. Let me first extend my heartiest thanks to the organizers of the Tillotoma Foundation, as they have invited me to speak on a topic which has been the point of discussion, the issue which has attracted the maximum attention of the viewers and the audience and discussed in all forums. That is the global economic performances in the post-corona pandemic situation. And for that, I have chosen the topic global economy in the post-corona pandemic situation with special focus to the world of work in India. So at the very outset, let me state one thing. That is, as we have, I think, the viewers, the audiences are a heterogeneous audience. So I will be a little bit non-technical, stressing on the reports and findings of the various world official organizations like the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, the International Labour Organization, the Asian Development Bank report, the ADB, and for India, I will concentrate on the Center for Monitoring of Indian Economy, the Center for Sustainable Employment of the Rajib Bhattacharyya University. So let me move on because we are time bound within the Zoom scenario. So let me start off with the topic of discussion. Madam, would you please go to the slide? Please go to the second slide. The second one, yes, thank you. So the structure of the presentation is like this. I will touch upon three key issues. One is the issue of life versus livelihood. Then I will touch upon the age-old debate, which has been again brought into the forefront, the debate between two eminent economists, Professor Amurtya Sen and Jagadish Bhagwati. Third, I will try to focus on the global output and the job scenario at the world level. Then I will try to be focusing on the India's employment scenario in the pre and the post-corona situation, and then measures to overcome the crisis as well as the policy suggestions and conclusions. Please, the next slide. Now, as we all know that since the beginning of the 2020, the Indian economy as well as the global economy has been hit by the corona pandemic, or basically the COVID-19 virus, which has actually thrown the biggest challenge to the mankind. People haven't ever thought that this kind of health pandemic may even be more fatal than the devastations of a war. It has brought the world to a standstill and also thrown various challenges. The first challenge that it has given to us is the challenge between life versus livelihood. As we all know, the infection rate of the COVID appears to be little bit more severe than the SARS outbreak in 2003 and the MERS outbreak in 2012. Please, the next one. Now, there are certain facts and matters of concern which has cropped up in the context of life and livelihood. What is that? Now, the government of various countries have adopted various measures of lockdown, social distancing, and other containment measures to save the life of the people. We have just 2 days early, we have in India, we have completed the 4th lockdown, and we have seen that the infection rate and the death toll has reached a very high. Now, on the other hand, economists are saying that the health pandemic also give way to the second innings of the battle, which is even more painful. That is the battle of livelihood. And believe me or not, it will take the world back to may take the world back to the days of the Great Depression, as has been predicted by many economists we know. At that period of time, Keynes had to give his theory of employment, interest, and money. The most severe impact of this pandemic has been on the drastic rise in unemployment situation. And that has taken place particularly in the informal sector, and countries like India, Brazil, and Mexico, who has a higher percentage of the population working in the informal sector, they are badly hit by the crisis. Not only that, sectors like manufacturing, wholesale, retail, transport, tourism, storage, communication, construction, real estate, hotels, restaurants, art and entertainment, recreation and accommodation, all are hit severely by the crisis. Next one. Now, in this context, I would try to say that on the one hand, there is a trade-off between the life and the livelihood. Why there is a trade-off? The unlock period has just now opened, and workers have started joining their jobs. And if the workers start joining their jobs without precautions, and the government, whatever the government has announced, they do not maintain that, what will happen is they will again get affected by the corona pandemic, and it will rise. And people are predicting that during the next 2 months, there may be some rise in the infection rate and the death rate due to this pandemic situation as the lockdowns are opening. So there is a trade-off, and the trade-off can be broken only when the precautionary measures are taken along with the opening up of the economy in steps, in phases. If we do that, we can tackle the problem, and it may not be contradictory paths of development. Now let us come back to the Sen Bhagavati debate. It is an old debate on public policy which has been brought forward by two non-resident eminent economists of India, Professor Amut Sen and Professor Jagdish Bhagavati. Professor Sen was of the opinion that there are huge deficits in terms of development goals, particularly health, nutrition, poverty, education, and he stressed on this. But Bhagavati's model is a little bit different one. He stressed on sustained liberalization for achieving sustained growth in the economy. And I have tried to show in terms of a table that the recent estimates show. I have taken few countries, Australia, Canada, France, Germany, some important countries along with India, and tried to show that what percentage of social expenditure as a part of the GDP are being spent in various countries along with India. We see that India spends only a meager 7.7%. And within that, 1.6% is devoted to health. So with this, there is a question which has cropped up. Can this kind of pandemic be fought about? But here, there is another issue. This kind of situations, this kind of investment in health infrastructure may not be a sufficient condition, because we have seen many countries of North America, many countries of the Europe, they have faced severe kind of crisis, even though they had a good health infrastructure. So there is a question that even with social infrastructure, even with good health infrastructure, can we combat this crisis? Next. Now let us come back to the predicted impact on the world economy. Here I have tried to show the estimates of two major world organizations report. One is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, which has forecasted that initially they have estimated the world to grow at 2.9%. Now the revised estimate suggests that will slide down, and it is expected to grow by 2.4% as opposed to the previous 2.9%. And the European economy is also going to slide from 1.2 to 0.8%. But all these situations, adverse impact is responsible for the adverse impact on confidence, both on the business as well as the consumers, financial markets, the travel sector, and these disruptions in the supply chains. And these downward revisions are more prominently felt with countries which are more interconnected with China. And they are countries like Japan, Korea, Australia, and others. Let me go on, next slide. Next slide. Now, the Asian Development Bank comes out on 6th March with a report which says that three possible situations are, they came out with three possible situations. One is the best case, number two is the moderate case, number three is the worst case. In all the three cases, People's Republic of China accounted for 2/3 of the global impact. And in the moderate scenario, we can see that with the no outbreak situation compared to the no outbreak situation, the People's Republic of China is going to shrink by $103 billion, close to 0.8% of the PRC's GDP. And the rest is being shared between the global economy and the rest of the developing Asia. And in this context, the rest of the developing Asia is going to slide down its GDP by 0.24% in the moderate scenario case. Next slide, please. Now, from this, let me move on to the impact on the job scenario. Now, as we have seen that this health pandemic has not been confined to health shock only. It has turned into an economic and a labor market shock. And the labor market effects of this COVID-19 are far-reaching, deep, and unprecedented. And the crisis has been felt by not only a decline in employment, but also a decline in work hours. As per the latest estimate of the ILO, April 2020, in the full or partial lockdown situation measures, it has affected more than 2.7 billion workers of the world, and it is estimated to be about 81% of the world labor force. The employment layoff and temporary reduction in work time has also reduced the salary and the wage payments, and that has affected the middle and the low income group. Another ILO estimate suggests, which has been a beautiful work has been done by McKibben and Fernando 2020, which suggests that there are three scenarios possible. One is the low scenario case, where the unemployment is going to rise by 5.3 million, compared to the high scenario case, where the unemployment is going to rise by 24.7 million, compared to the base level of 188 million in 2019. In the low scenario case, as it is expected that the GDP will drop by 2%, and with that the global employment is going to increase by 5.3 million with an uncertainty of 3.5 to 7 million. In the mid scenario, there will be an expected drop of GDP of 4%, and accordingly, the global unemployment is supposed to increase by 13 million with some uncertainty. And in the high scenario case, where the effect of the COVID-19 is more disruptive, the reduction in the GDP is around 8%, and the unemployment will be the highest to 24.7% with an uncertainty ranging from 13 to 36 billion. Please, the next slide. Another work which has been done by the ILO in recent times, I would like just to focus on that, is beautiful work in new casting models. As time is very short, I cannot go deep into the, if someone is interested, he or she may contact me or can go through the website to find this. There is a data which they consider is they have calculated a decline or a loss in working hours in the second quarter or Q2, as depending on the data available in the first quarter. And as the estimates indicate that the working hours will decline in the current quarter, that is quarter 2, by around 6.7%, which is equivalent to 195 million full-time workers, assuming 48-hour work week, they have calculated. And the largest decline will be expected by upper medium middle income countries, though it's comparable across various income groups. Now let us come back briefly to the sector-wise impact. It has not affected all the sectors of the economy of the world at the same pace. There are sectors which have been red-lighted, which are severely affected or highly affected: manufacturing, wholesale retail, real estate, commodity, accommodation and food. There are sectors which are medium high affected: art, entertainment, media, and transport, storage, communication. There are medium affected sectors which are construction, financial, insurance activity, mining and quarrying. Agriculture, forestry and fishery are low medium affected. Education, human health and social activities are lowly affected. Also utilities. Now let us come back, next slide. Let us come back to the scenario prevailing in India. As beautiful work again has been done by Mehrotra and Farida, which has been cited in the as a working paper in Center for Sustainable Employment, Rajib Bhattacharyya University. They have tried to show that Indian economy has been already passing through an unprecedented decline in the trends in unemployment from 2011-12 to 2017-18. And that has mainly been due to a decline in the employment in agriculture and manufacturing and the slow growth of construction jobs, as well as has been a period prior to Corona. There has been a declining trend in unemployment from 2011-12 to 2017-18. And that has been felt at all levels of education, starting from illiterates to the post-graduation level. And this has mainly been due to the decline in employment in agriculture, manufacturing, and the slow growth of construction jobs, and the process of social transformation as it gained momentum from 2004-5, and it has stalled in 2012. And the mounting educated unemployment, youth unemployment, and also the lack of proper quality of non-firm jobs has resulted in the disheartenment of the labor force. And I have then talked about the CMI report, the two reports where they say, one report, Consumer Pyramid Survey, where they said 52% of the job loss is among the youth, and that has serious implications on consumer demand and savings. And there was a spike, a sudden rise in the unemployment rate from 22nd March to 29th March, the unprecedented rise from 8.4% to 23.8% as per the CMI report April 2020. And that was mainly due to the labor force participation rate. And then I talked about some measures to overcome. The three measures I told is protecting the workers in the workplace, stimulating the economy's demand, and also supporting the employment and incomes of the workers. This has been predicted by the ILO in their report, in the recent report, the recent configuration that has been given by the ILO. And then I went on to countries which have provided various kinds of concessions, various kind of work efforts, occupational safety week. I told about China, Ireland, and Singapore providing sick leave to unemployed workers or unwell workers in the quarantine. Then also the process of work from home, teleworking has already started. Other measures like child support during the unlock period also, the workers can achieve their goals. And the economy will again be stimulated. As you said, madam, you have said at the beginning, the government of India has announced mainly two packages. On 26th March, it is 1.7 lakh crores packages. And on last 13th May, 20 lakh crores. Though there are criticisms, how much package is new, how much package is existing, old one, how much is debt. I am not going into the criticisms of that. And just 2 days earlier, the government has announced 20,000 crore package for 2 lakh MSME units and a 50 crore package for the street vendors. Now, this package should continue as a stimulus for uplifting the economy from the squalor of the poverty, from the deep crisis. Now, what else can be done? Now, I feel that as a social scientist, as a student of economics, I feel that fiscal support should continue with health services along with extension of medical facilities. Health infrastructures has to be developed in the long run also, along with the professor's same opinion. And temporary assistance should be provided in the form of cash transfers or unemployment insurance, and also essentials may be provided through the public distribution scheme. Measures to be provided to delay tax payments or debt payments in the form of EMIE or something like that. RBI has also announced it. The sector-specific fiscal or monetary support particularly needed for the MSME sectors, which are where majority of the Indian are being employed, where informal sector are being employed. And in the long run, there is an opportunity which has come in India's way. That is the Make in India strategy. India government can think of going for a strategic industrialization with massive investment in infrastructure. If they can do it, there are many firms which have relocated from China. The firms of South Korea, firms of USA, firms of Japan, they are thinking to re-establish. And if India can provide them the attractive destination, they can relocate in India, and India can take advantage of this Make in India strategy. And not only that, this can provide huge employment not only in the short run, but also could remove the structural bottlenecks which can remove the global supply chain problems. I think I must stop here. I must ask if there are any questions of the audience. Let us stop here. Yes, if there is anyone to ask any questions regarding my presentation or session.
Thank you, Dr. Bhattacharya, for your a very interesting presentation. A lot of important points to ponder upon has come up in your presentation. I think we can take a few questions.
Yes, yes.